Hello. Welcome to Spiritual Impulse. I'm Edith, and this channel reaches out to women who are not quite ready to move abroad, but are anxious about the current political climate here in America. If this sounds like you, I'm here to support you. This is a non judgmental, safe place for women. And I want you to know that I feel that you're needed, you're wanted, you're loved, and I see you. Today, I will share some practical tools I use to navigate life's uncertainties and explain how I've turned challenges into abundant opportunities for growth and prosperity throughout my life. Hopefully, you will find these ideas helpful, and I hope you join me weekly as we share and discuss strategies that help us grow and prosper while navigating fear. The intention of today's session is for us to connect, to build trust, to honestly share your feelings, to receive support, and hopefully leave feeling at peace. So, I don't know who's joined us. I don't see anyone yet, so let's just give them a few minutes. Hopefully, they will chime in and join us. So, let me just put my welcome here. Welcome. Well, I don't know who's going to be joining us, but I'm just going to start. The first question that I have, and the reason why I wanted to do this is because I've noticed in listening to the social platforms and also the news and listening to my friends, many of whom have expated out of the United States and are living all over the world, saying that they are enjoying their life. And I live vicariously through them, and I'm very happy that they're doing it, because when and if I choose to do that, I'll have some ladies that I know that I can connect with. However, presently at this time, I know that my assignment is here in America. And after this season calms down, which I know it will, then I will be free to make that decision to move anywhere that I choose to. But currently, with the present situation, I feel like my skills are better utilized here. And so, this is my assignment I received spiritually to stay here and assist with whatever is going to unfold here in America. The question that I have for people who will be seeing this is, how do you navigate fear? How do you navigate fear? And for me, how I navigate fear is to go within first before making any decisions whatsoever about what I'm going to be doing, where I'm going to be going. I first go within and I get very still and quiet. And the first thing that I do when I'm in that space is just to listen for that still small voice, which has always guided me my entire life. And once I hear that, then that's what my marching orders will be for the day. Usually, this happens on a daily basis. I will always wake up early in the morning before I start my day, and I will get quiet. I will read some biblical passages, or I will focus on one, which is my favorite. I and my Father are one. And I would just focus and dwell on that statement until I feel still and I feel at peace. And then what I do is I just open myself up to listening. I just listen. And there are times when I do this, I hear a voice directing me, or I just feel completely at peace. And when this happens, I know that that prayer, which I call communion, is done. And I don't have to worry about anything after that. I know that I'm protected, I'm guided, and and from that point on, I just walk through the day, whatever it is that I have to do, and it comes to me. Whether it's just some mundane things like getting up, calling my sister in law, and seeing how she's doing, and also going to the store, because I do cooking. For the last 2 years, I learned how to do alkaline dishes, and that has changed my life and my eating pattern. And that right now is something that I do all the time. And I love cooking. So I'll think about a particular recipe that I would like to cook. I may have seen something on television that I've looked at on the Today Show or any of the shows. CBS is always, providing us with nice, beautiful recipes that are healthy. And sometimes I'll get a recipe that I like and transform it into something that I can utilize because I very seldom eat meat. But I've learned how to cook in a healthier way than I did 3 years ago when I was a fast food junkie. And those habits now are instilled within me, and it's made my life a lot easier because I can whip up a healthy meal in less than half an hour now. Whereas before, when I first started, I didn't even know how to do it. But I do it now with joy, and I love cooking. And the best thing about cooking is the fact that I know what goes into the food. So I feel good about eating it. And before I started to cook alkaline foods, I would eat things that I thought would be healthy for me. And after eating them, my eyes would always bother me. But that very seldom happens now because I know what to eat and how to eat. And today I eat very simple meals. It's nothing lavish. I very seldom eat meat. And if I do, I eat a very small amount of meat. But mostly what I eat now are legumes and beans. And I'll eat a lot of tofu. I will eat some eggs because I do like eggs. I will eat different kinds of meat. And of course, I make my own walnut milk and I put that in my cereal. And I very, very seldom use sugar anymore, which has really helped. I'll use agave syrup, fig syrup, anything other than cane sugar. And so that's how I eat now. And I really like it. It's a scaled down version of what I used to eat. But most of the time, I'm eating something like this morning, I got up and I had an urge to eat breakfast. And I fixed a hard boiled egg, well, soft boiled egg. And I cooked some aromatics, some, ginger, some onions, and some garlic, and I sauteed those and I put some cilantro and some spinach in there. And I put a little seasoning in there and I had a piece of naan bread, a half a piece of naan bread and some coffee. And I felt really full and that carried me until I ate a little something for lunch. And what I ate for lunch was some, um, I think it was butternut pasta I ate. Now, I didn't make that. I bought that from the store, but I like lean cuisine. And so that's what I had for dinner. And that's all that I had. And the rest of the day, I'll eat fruit. There are times when I do eat a piece of candy. And I also like the blueberry muffins, that they sell at Wegmans in Owens Mills. They are very good. And so I had a half a piece of blueberry muffin. That's all I've had for the day, and that will carry me. But getting back to navigating fear on a daily basis, I've gotten into a habit of going within. So even at lunchtime, I may feel a pull to do that again, to go within. And whenever I go within and commune, I'm always seeking guidance because I know how to, to connect with the presence. I've been doing it for so long. And this presence always protects me and guides me. And so I have a lot of faith in it. And that's really what I use on a practical level to deal with uncertainties and to deal with fears, especially during the course of my life. And doing this has given me the direction to not to move abroad at this time. And that's really why I've decided not to make that move. And I love the women who are doing it. I think they're very brave. And I look forward to traveling as they are and hopefully connecting with some of those women who've moved abroad. I have a friend that I connected to some time ago, Linda. She moved to France, and I'm definitely going to be contacting her because I would love to travel to Nice, France, which is where she is, and just see for myself if there's something there for me that I would like to visit more often, or have a dual citizenship and maybe live there half of the year and live here the rest. I definitely am not going to give up my citizenship in the United States nor my passport. But those are my plans and those are my reasons. I have 8 beautiful grandchildren who live here in America, and I love them very dearly. I have a wonderful, wonderful daughter in law and Shannon. And Shannon, if you're listening, hi, sweetie, I love you very much. She is an awesome mom. And I have to give this young woman credit because she has really, really, really been the support of these 8 children and has done a fantastic job. I don't know how she does it, but she is a wonderful mother and has been a wonderful daughter in law for me. And they live here in America, and I certainly wouldn't want to be somewhere where they couldn't visit or I couldn't, continue a relationship with them because I love them very much. So, they're growing up now, and some of them are teenagers, some of them are out of the house. And so I think 2 or 3 of them are in college now, and the rest of them are still at home with mom. So until I get the impulse from within to make the move abroad, I will be staying here in America and living my life here. I live a very peaceful life, and I love being in America. I own my own home, and I'm active still. And it has taken me this project that I was working on to do this live show was a 2-month process because I had no idea how to do it. And I have to give some acknowledgement to Stephanie Perry, who helped me initially start a YouTube channel because she teaches women how to. And so, shout out to you, Stephanie. And Rashida is her partner. They work together in Exodus Summit. So, I have to give them credit because I'm a member of Exodus Summit. And I didn't join this year because I knew that my heart was not into moving abroad. And that's what their mission is to move abroad. And presently, that is not my mission. But I honor their mission. I'm happy for them, and they are very successful now. And I'm proud of them because they are African American women out there living their life, just being happy, doing what they feel is their mission and their purpose in life. And I just love that. I just love that. And so one day, maybe soon, I will be able to travel and reconnect with the members of this group. However, presently, my assignment is here in the United States. So, well, those are some that is really the major way that I navigate uncertainties and fear in my own life. And I just depend on the presence within to guide me daily to know what to do. I don't make any moves until I do that because I know that God, the divine love, is the only power and the only presence. And I feel that when I go within, and hopefully one day I won't have to go within, hopefully one day I'll just be, you know, just feel that connection fully all the time. And there won't be any need for me to go within. I will be communing all the time, 24/7, because I know that this presence has guided my life. I've had some harrowing experiences, and I've come out of them with my life intact. And so I know that I've been guided and I've been directed. That's really the basic way how I deal with fear and how I navigate fear. So the next question I would like to have is, what is fear? What is fear? Why do we? Why do I become seduced with this thing called fear? And there are times I believe I get seduced by fear because I begin to ruminate on a belief that I'm housing within my own consciousness, a belief of fear, a belief that I may not be good enough, or a belief that I may be holding some anger or some resentment towards someone or something or some situation. And I begin to ruminate on it. And that, causes separation. It causes, me to feel separate and apart from my father and my mother. And I do know that I am a spiritual idea of God. I know that I'm God's daughter and that I'm made in my Father's image and likeness, which is divine love and infinite wisdom. And I am being called to yield to that presence so that I can stay aligned with it. And that's been kind of hard for me because I've been a very strong person most of my life, and I've been a rebel, most of my life, and that was the hardest thing that I had to come to terms with, of, to surrendering that will to be a rebel. Well, why was I being a rebel, or who was I rebelling against? Just probably God. And so that's been the most difficult part for me, is just to surrender to God's will and stop being a rebel and just being obedient to God's will and doing what God wants me to do with this life of His. And now, that I'm in the sunset years of my life, I'm really enjoying being aligned and being governed by this presence, because every day that I wake up, I feel joy and I feel purposeful. I always have to have something purposeful. I've been retired for over 10 years now, and I used to work for the state of Maryland. in education, and I loved that. But there was a time when the impulse told me that it's time for you to leave that job and to move on because we're on an adventure, and each duty that we have, each job or each assignment that we have, equips us with what we need to live fully in this life as an instrument to serve our Father and our Mother. So here I am. I'm very happy that I successfully accomplish this purpose of creating this live session, and I hope others see it. I definitely will send this link to others, and hopefully they will get something out of it as well. Now, I'm not going to continue this, but for a few more minutes, because I think I see one person here. I don't know whether they would like to say hi or introduce themselves. I don't know, but I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable. Is there anyone who would like to share something at this time? Well, I don't know whether or not they want to share something, but it looks like we do have one person that's present. And so, what I would like to share with whoever is listening, that the Bible says that God is love. And in 1 John 4:16, God is love. And the Bible also says, be not afraid, John 6:20. And the Bible also says in 1 John 4:18 that there is no fear in love, and that perfect love casts out fear. And when I first heard that, I had to ask myself, well, what does that mean? Perfect love casts out fear. And then we've talked about fear, but we haven't talked about love. Well, what is love? And it took me a long time to understand what love is. And I feel that love is God's grace. The grace that when we become quiet and still, and we listen for that still small voice, and that still small voice, you know, comes through us. We're just the instruments for it. That's love. That's divine love. That's grace. And once that happens, you feel totally, fully protected. And and that's my understanding of love. And the other thing that I had to understand about love is how does it cast out fear? How does love cast out fear? Does it get in the boxing ring and box it and cast it out? Well, my understanding of that is I know that God is all. God is omnipresent. God is omnipotent. God is omniscient, and God is omniactive. And if God is all of that, He is all. And in this allness does not leave room for anything else. Nothing. Therefore, fear cannot exist because all there is love. And so that's what we're being called to understand and to see, perceive, as we move forward in this world, is to perceive love and to see everyone and to see love everywhere and to see love in everyone. And trust me, I am challenged to do that. I'm making some headway with it because it's very challenging to see love in everyone and everyone in everybody when you observe certain behaviors and you know that those behaviors are not aligned with the presence. But I'm not saying to disregard those behaviors. What I'm saying is that those behaviors are not representative of the pure image and likeness of God, which all of his children are, regardless to how they're behaving. And this is why in the Bible it tells us to forgive 70 times 7, because you don't condone the behavior, because the behavior can be so outlandish. You're seeing that now on the world stage, but you have to know that even though the behavior is very difficult to observe, you don't approve the behavior, but you know that whoever that person is the image and likeness of God, but they're just ignorant of that. So they're carrying on out here in the world now. You're not liking this behavior because I'm not liking it, but I can still see that they're God's children, and they are made in the image and likeness of God. And therefore, because I know that, although I'm looking at this behavior that I don't like and don't approve of, I can still hold them and in the perception of God's image and likeness, which is divine love. And I really believe that that's the only way that we're going to resolve the situation that we're in now, because, taking up the sword is not going to help. Taking up guns is not going to help. Although sometimes, you have to stop yourself from going that way because the behavior is so outlandish. But we really have to understand that God is all. And in this allness, there can be no fear at all, because God's allness is pure. And we have to remember that we are seeing through the limitations of our physical senses, because our physical senses are finite. So you're seeing through a finite vessel, and therefore you're not seeing the entire picture. You're just seeing a limited part of it. And with that understanding, you may be able to understand more fully about forgiveness. Because if this is not all there is to the person that you're seeing, it's just a behavior based on human will, you just forgive them, just like you forgive children when you know that they disbehave or become obedient and they're, acting out. You forgive the child, but there are consequences for that behavior. And this is how this is how I raised my son. There are consequences for your behavior. And when you act out like that. And so, but you still love the person, you still love the child. You don't stop loving the child. And the same with the people that you see on the world stage who are acting up and, not behaving as you would say appropriately. We still have to love them regardless, because that is the first commandment. You remember, no, I'm sorry. That's the second commandment. Love thy neighbor as thyself. The first commandment is to love God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And so, therefore, the only thing you see is love. And that's what loving God is. And you see it everywhere. And when you begin to see it, when you begin to acknowledge it, you begin to see more of it. And one of the ways that I do that daily is through gratitude. I give thanks. Every time I wake up, I give thanks for being here. I don't have to be here. I mean, this life can be extinguished in the blinking of an eye, and I'm still here for whatever reason. And I'm able to take care of myself. And I thought, now this is something that really surprised me, because after I decided not to work anymore, because I just wanted to work for myself. All of my life I've supported other people. I've been a support person, and I like, operating in the background. I don't like being up front. And so after I was able to help a family member stabilize themselves, I decided that I did not want to work anymore for anyone else. in that way. I wanted to listen and to allow myself to be an instrument to serve my father and my mother in my own individual way. And so this is what hopefully I'm doing now. This is the beginning of it. I don't know where it's going to take me. I do love making jewelry. I made this jewelry, and this channel may take a turn next week. I don't know, but I do know that I love making jewelry and I love cooking, and I love spirituality. So hopefully this has been a benefit to someone who watches it. And thank you for joining me. I'm not going to continue with this today because I've been on for half an hour, and hopefully you got something out of it. And hopefully I'll see you next week if you decide to be present. Bye. Thank you for joining.